weighs about 15 pounds. At 5 cents a pound, that's 75 cents. Not a tremendous amount of money, but if that's your only form of income, that's pretty good. Profit motivation works. In fact, because of this, you rarely see cans and bottles in the curb when the garbage truck comes, because people pick them out, either homeowners or people coming around in the street. In fact, if people were free to take the trash and the scrap metal from the curb without fear of having their car taken, I'm sure a large portion of garbage will be taken from the curb before the city even has to come. That would save the taxpayer money. It would also reduce the amount of pollution, because people are doing something far more profitably than the city. If they simply allowed people to compete fairly on a level playing field, they would find that they are not needed as much. The city spends so much time justifying its own existence that it really would save a lot more money if it just left people alone. What I'm advocating is something a little different. It's called off-grid technology. Off-grid is different because it enables you, the homeowner, the apartment resident, the business owner, to actually have your own way of getting power. You actually are your power supply, either by installing solar panels, by installing wind generators, or by installing biodiesel, which could be used on various oils such as waste cooking oil. These are ways you can get power virtually for free. Now, what many of the politicians are advocating is great, because the air is going to be cleaner and we're going to depend less on foreign oil. But how about you, the consumer? Is that going to take away your bill? I don't think so, because when a city upgrades or a utility upgrades, you, the customer, are paying for the upgrade. You're also going to be paying afterwards every month a bill, because you are still a customer.
It's like, okay, you weren't here for the whole semester, bring me 5 essays and I'll pass you.
Now, some might say that that's being a not nice teacher or a lenient teacher, or in the school system, I'll be honest with you, we're judged on how many kids pass our class, and the school is judged on how many kids make it through in 4 years. 5 years don't matter, 6 years, but how many of the kids who came in September 9th grade, 4 years later they walk into graduation. So there's a pressure to make those, make them leave. So when you have this constant pressure, especially when the school is being closed down, but before it was going to be closed down, there was always the fear: if we don't get more kids to graduate, you're going to close us down. So it created a fair amount of dishonesty, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of teachers marking the exams, or just in terms of the grading practices, you can't say that this teacher across the hall and me are going to have the exact same grading system. There's no consistency. I could give a grade of 75, and the same kid might go to another school, it could be 90 somewhere else, it could be 40 somewhere else. There's no consistency in it. Bloomberg and Klein, they travel the country getting all kinds of credit for the school system and for turning it around. But when you realize that, people make up the grades. I mean, there's really no consistency to it. They can put whatever they want on their report card. It's very subjective. But nobody wants to admit that. People get
it defeats the purpose of school, because in the same sense, I understand numbers on papers, they count, and you want to make yourself look good, but in the same, what is the price that you're paying? Here you are just releasing this person into society who really doesn't know anything, and who's not going to remember anything, because you don't remember everything you're taught in school, in high school. It's like summer vacation comes and half the things you learn just disappears. It's just like, what did I learn? But it's like, I totally agree with you as far as the trade schools, because when you look at schools like automotive or transit tech, those kids, when they graduate, they have a greater percentage of them, they actually go and find jobs, because now not only do they have the academic education, but they have the physical experience to say, well, okay, I've learned about this thing, I've actually done it, so now I'm more an advantage to you and your company, or now I'm an advantage to myself, because I can actually go out there, and if I'm competing against somebody for a job, I'm better equipped. When you do have like those kind of trade schools and stuff like that, you have more kids coming to school, and you have more kids paying attention, because this is something they want to do. And the thing about young people is, if we want to do something, if we find something that's interesting, something that grabs our attention, and something that we like, we're going to do it. We're going to continue to do it. You
see the end point before you start.
Yeah.
When we're giving them, they don't understand what the end point is.
It's kind of like you're forcing it onto them to say, well, this is the curriculum, this is what you have to learn, even if you have no interest. That's like making a kid that wants to be an auto mechanic, make him go to like LaGuardia or something for the arts, whereas he doesn't have an interest. It's like it's nothing there. Like you said, when the kids ask you, what does science have to do with my life? Like, what is the point in this? I'm wasting my time. You know, and if they feel like that, they're gonna more so reject it than anything else. You know, and if we had more trade schools or something else in the building or in that school to go along with the academics, it'll be more, you know, more of a progress. Even stuff like when I was here at Mr. Held, like we had one television class, and it's like everybody wanted to be a part of that class, but you could only be it if you're a senior, and it was a limited amount of students that could have been in that class. But even with that skill alone, you know, he taught us how to make commercials. He taught us, it was one assignment we had to do when we had to invent a product and then, you know, promote it to sell. We had to pick the price. Why is our product the best? Why do you need our product? You know, how can our product help you or whatever? And, you know, stuff like that, in a sense, as little, you know, and even though we didn't really, I'll honestly say we didn't really take it as serious, and it was more of a fun thing. But if you really think about it, it taught us how to, you know, it taught us as far as business-wise, it taught us how to manufacture, it taught us how to be entrepreneurs, you know, it taught us to trade, how to sell,
and how to use
you know, how to use the video equipment, the cameras, everything like that, how to, you know, be persuasive, do persuasive promoting, and how to sell, and that's a skill, how to hustle, you know, and that's a skill that now everybody has to learn how to hustle. It's a hustle. You have to find some kind of hustle, some kind of trade, some kind of skill, some kind of something that, you know, if you don't have a 9 to 5, because they're slowly but surely disappearing, jobs are disappearing every time you turn around, what are you going to do?
Well, what do you think about the people who, you can't change things?
It takes one person to make a difference. I've always believed that, and I've always been the type of person to, I don't care how much is against me, if I believe in a certain thing, I'm gonna stand on what I believe in. And Mrs. Sacerdote, like I encourage you. I'm proud to say that I was one of your students, just because you're even, you know, standing up and making this decision in life and actually taking this step and running for this position. Because to me, you've always been a person that can relate on a personal level to the students, as opposed to just being a teacher. And it's not something that you've, because, you know, some people try, you know, but it's just natural with you. Like, you know, I've always felt comfortable and confident enough to confide in you, or to, you know, to rely on you, you know. And it's like, I don't believe that the Democrats or the Republicans have a greater chance in beating you because of the person, the individual you are. I don't necessarily think it's your party that's going to take you far. I think it's you that's going to take you far, because you have, I can't describe it, but it's just something about you that is real, you know, that's down to earth. Like when you look at politicians, you see the shirt, you see the tie, and you know, but I'm not just the physical, but you see a politician, you know, you don't see a regular everyday person.
Well, that definitely would happen with me. Some say I'm a little too regular.